Follow Helen Paul and I, Frank Donga.
You forgot your show notes inside.
Can you imagine? That's what I'm looking for.
Over the last 3 years, we have traveled through the hills and the valleys of Nigeria.
I've seen people combine their coleslaw with ofada rice and pomo before.
Say what? As we uncover the untold stories of food heroes on the front lines.
There's no planting season for us. We produce here every week.
Connecting them to untapped opportunities and the experts who can solve their problems.
We advise farmers to top dress with urea at the rate of 90 kilograms per hectare.
For a very long time, I think we neglected farming in Nigeria.
We provide loan to these farmers, and then we've been working with them for like over 10 years now.
So anybody can participate in agriculture.
This is Farm&Fortune. When Ebuka started his mushroom farm, he wanted to feed the country with quality mushrooms. However, he didn't expect that finding the right seeds would be such a challenge.
I would say I started farming as a kid. I've always had something to do with agriculture. I got interested in mushrooms. We did black soldier fly at some point, waste to food, had plenty of issues, but mushroom was, I would say, way cheaper to get into. And then we started mushroom in 2019, 2020, and that was when it all started. We got into oyster production because oyster is like the forgiving mushroom. You can forgive any kind of thing that you do. So we started with oyster, and okay, let's see how we pick it up from there and start moving things. And then we discovered that we don't even have the seeds to start with. The mushrooms that we want to grow, button mushrooms, the seeds are not available. We set out to help farmers, get the seeds available for farmers, because that's where we are currently. We wanted to help Nigerians generally, let mushrooms be available. But now it's looking at, though, the challenge is farmers that have more problems, not even the Nigerians themselves, because we don't even have the seed.
Helen.
Yes?
You forgot your show notes inside.
Can you imagine? That's what I'm looking for here. I'm trying to sort it out.
Why am I not surprised? No be you.
Now you sabi. At least our farmers today does not behave like some people. It looks like someone, that will not take a no for an answer.
Okay. I agree. Ebuka understands that input is equal to output. And only he has to be able to do now is recognize and access quality inputs. And for that, I'm going to score him 10, a strong 10 for the magnitude of his problem.
Why are you being wicked with Max?
No, he knows what to do. All he has to do is be able to recognize, and access quality. So he has to be able to find it. That's all.
Personally, I would give Ebuka 18 for his attitude. He knows what he's doing, and he looks like someone that wants to do everything right.
Okay. And just in case you're wondering, we're still going to rate and score Ebuka on all the other factors that are on our fortune board.
You're still on to Farm&Fortune. My name is Helen Paul.
And I'm Frank Donga.
And you're watching
Farm&Fortune.
Not one to take chances, Ebuka is seeking out quality seed from specialized agencies. Do they match his expectations? How can he solve this seed problem for other farmers?
Do we get the seeds available, not just for ourselves, but for every other farmer that is coming into the space? Instead of just getting points anywhere, let's go to people that we know for sure this is what they are producing, and then they have paperwork, certificates to prove that this is what we are doing. So if I collect oyster from you, I know that it is oyster. I collect Ganoderma from you, I know this is Ganoderma. We've gotten seeds from the likes of Mycelium Emperum. We've gotten from Selfans. We've gotten from, here in Nigeria, we've gotten from Pharaoh. We've gotten from Asapet and a few other persons. And then what we do is we get the same variety from all of these people. And we want to know which is the best. Now we are sure that this is what you have. This is oyster. It is oyster. This one is Ganoderma. This one is milky. We have all of this. Then we start to grow them, and then we are watching results you know, and we are taking records. You know, we want to see who is giving us more yield than the other, which one looks better, you know, how presentation also matters because we're going to storefronts and all of that. Yes, so we're looking at all of this, and then once we get our mushrooms from all of these different sources, and then we start growing them, we see results. Then from the fresh tissues that we have gotten, we now start the multiplication process. All of us here, there is like a standard, you know, they call it SOP, yeah? Yeah, so there's a standard. When you come, you know what to do first, the next thing to do. Everybody understands that. Like, there is nothing like, substrates or production or, no, everybody understands that. It's just a few of us that don't really have all the hands-on knowledge in the multiplication process yet. But then most persons get what they need to know. We grow year-round. The reason why, if you look closely, you discover that some bags are older, some bags are looking fresh and young and all of that is because we want to be able to make sure that this food that our parents told us they only get during the wet season is now available year-round. So there's no planting season for us. Every time of the year, in fact, we produce here every week. We have a production minimum of 1,300 blocks every week. So in the near future, we want to be able to comfortably say that we have, you know, these indigenous seeds somewhere. Anytime you want them, you just come and then you get them. So we want to create a bank, a seed bank for mushrooms, you know. And then other things is currently in the Nigerian mushroom space, we comfortably grow just 3 varieties of mushrooms, whereas we have over 1,000 edible species of mushrooms, and we're doing just 3. We've not even scratched the surface yet. So in the near future, we want to be able to not just have the seeds, but have farms that are growing a whole lot of these varieties of mushrooms, and then it is accessible to the general public.
You see, the more I talk to farmers, the more I realize that whoever came up with the saying, what you sow is what you reap, must have been talking to farmers. And you see, our guest on today's episode knows all about planting the right seed or spores to get a bumper harvest. He's been doing this for so many years and he's been teaching other people to do so. Please welcome no other person but Engineer Toba Ashano.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Welcoming me on your
looking
program.
sharp as usual.
Thank you.
Farmers looking sharp.
Yes.
Like to see
so
it.
we feed the rest of the world, and we have to look sharp to be able to feed the rest of the world. For people to believe in us, we just have to do that.
Nice. So, Engineer Ashano, tell me, in these past 3 years that I've been, hosting this show, I've come across a lot of farmers and listened to a lot of complaints and problems. And one thing that keeps reoccurring is this thing about seeds. People keep complaining about, getting the right seed, access to seed, how important seeds are. Why is this such a huge problem?
It has always been there. And as OCP Africa, we've been working with other partners in the value chain to find solutions to this. It's a big problem today because you have the best of fertilizers, the best of other inputs, CPPs, and the seed is not the right type. So what the farmer gets at the end of the day is a very low productivity. So it is when you get all the inputs correct, that includes seeds, CPP, fertilizer. That is when you have the potential that we are talking about at the end of harvest.
Thank you very much, sir. So obviously, seeds are very important.
Very, very important.
So The next question now will be, how do farmers, identify or get access to this? How do they recognize or choose these good seeds so that they can ensure a good harvest?
So what we advise farmers to do is to approach the right outfits to get the seeds. What you see out there that people call seeds sometimes is what we farmers, we call saved grains. So if you really want your harvest to be bumper, you need to go to the right outfit to get your seeds. In OCP Africa, we have what we call the Farm&Fortune hubs. Every Farm&Fortune hub you go to in Nigeria today, you have access to quality seeds, access to quality fertilizer, access to quality CPP, and we also give you training. So we are not just saying it is only at the Farm&Fortune hubs that you have access to these quality inputs. There are so many other value chain players that are also providing similar services in Nigeria today.
On one hand, you have solution providers, and on the other hand, you have farmers. And in the center, you have this complaint, this seeds fail. What's the missing link? What is missing between provision of good seeds, like you mentioned, on all the solutions that are available, and the farmers that still have problems? What's that missing link? Why is it not connecting?
From my experience, I think it has to do with lack of good extension services. Sometimes also what I see as a major problem here is the affordability. Some of our farmers believe, why do I need to pay so much when I can get a safe grain and I will still perform almost the same. I will still give the same performance with somebody that is buying seed from those markets. But I'm telling you, as an expert in this industry, when you use safe grains, you're only limiting your potentials. So no matter what the cost is, I will advise you that you buy your seed from the right sources, and at the end of the harvest, you come back and will thank the engineer that has now turned agronomist.
Getting seeds from the right sources.
Very important.
Step. Okay, thank you. But you also mentioned before that second point, you mentioned extension services. Can you dig a little deeper into that? What do you mean by the extension services are lacking?
For a very long time, I think we neglected farming in Nigeria. We had all our ADPs almost moribund. When I mean ADP, Agricultural Development Programs. So from my own knowledge of the industry, almost all the states in Nigeria have agricultural development programs, and they were well resourced at the time. So when we abandoned them, we were no longer bringing in qualified people that could train our farmers in the best of practices. When we talk of good agronomy practices, and it's evolving. It is not static. The knowledge I have yesterday may not actually suffice for my production tomorrow because it's an evolving thing. So we need to keep training our farmers on daily basis on the best practices that are internationally tested. So, and this is the link I think is missing today in the agricultural space in Nigeria.
At the risk of taking more of our time, I would have loved to ask you what you think the solution to that could be.
Yeah, the solution is to continue to invest. OCP Africa is doing so much of this. If you are familiar with some of our projects, the OCP Scholar project, we have agronomists as our station service agents that are training the farmers on a daily basis. We are working with a lot of the ADPs. So I'll give an example. In Kaduna, 2017, in Kaduna State, when we introduced, we pioneered the OCP Scholar project in Nigeria, the ADP was almost moribund. So we brought it to life, and we have done this in a number of states in Nigeria. It is our target to reach all the 36 states of Nigeria with this project as we continue to implement in the life of OCP.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that information. I'm happy you mentioned that information, gap that needs to be bridged. You've seen our mushroom farmer, Ebuka.
Yeah.
What do you think about him? How would you rate him?
I think
over 40 when it comes to access to resources.
Ebuka, the mushroom farmer. I will rate Ebuka 30 when it comes to access to resources. From what I've seen of his farm, he has everything it takes to continue to expand his production activities. He has the knowledge. He has the facilities. He has almost everything that it takes. to excel in that business. And I will rate him 30.
So
over 40.
That's a good score. That's a good score. It's on its way. It's climbing up on our on our fortune board. Yeah. But talk about growth potential. Naturally, you said he has access to all these materials. Looking at him as a person and what he has done and what he could still do. Growth potential over 20. Rate him.
I don't want to give him 20 over 20, but I think I will give him 15 over 20.
Oh, wow.
And I will tell you, the company I represent, we are proud to say Africa can feed the rest of the world. And what we have been trying to do as OCP Africa is to say, if we want the rest of the world to depend on us to feed them, we must first show that we can equally feed our population in Africa. We can grow over 100,000 species of mushroom, and Ebuka is only doing 3. So it means the potential for growth is there. I was on a program with USAID, and I clearly mentioned it. Why do we say brothers fighting brothers? It's because of lack of food. That is what will make me, as an individual, to take an arm against my fellow brother. If food is sufficient for all of us, we will not do that. Ebuka is on the right track to feed the teeming population of Nigeria. And who says we cannot export this to the rest of the world?
Thank you very much for that. I would like us to dig deeper into the processes and the practices. I would like us to jump into that practice and precise steps of what to take. But hold on to your thought 1 second. It's been nice talking to you so far. But right now, I want us to take a quick dip into our DIY segment. When we return, we're going to check out more of what our mushroom farmer, Ebuka, is up to. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Welcome to our DIY segment. Today, we will explore an easy way to nourish your soil using eggs. Get a few raw eggs, 3 to 5. Put all the items into a pot, pour some water, and bring to boil for 15 to 20 minutes. Drain the water into a bowl through a sieve. Pour the water into your garden or planters and watch your plants grow well. You can also store the water for future use. And that's our DIY hack for today. I'll see you next week with another hack.
Welcome back. The conversation is still ongoing, and I've been chatting with Engineer Toba Ashana, and we've been talking about access. Access to what? Exactly, access to resources. So, Engineer Ashana, farmers like Ebuka, how can he ensure that he's always surrounded by quality resources? What effort can he personally take to make sure that he has access to quality resources that can make his agricultural practice flourish?
Thank you, Frank. We've been discussing it, and there is no way we can overflog it. It needs quality inputs to be able to get that bumper harvest. And the source of the input is very, very key. You cannot just go to the open market as a mushroom farmer and you are looking for spores. The spores you are getting, you are not even sure whether they are the edible spores or the poisonous spores.
There are poisonous spores?
There are. So you need to get to the right source, pick your seed, and then with the right practices, you can be guaranteed that bumper harvest at the end of your production cycle.
And it's very important because it's not just about farming and, putting spores or seeds into a medium or on soil. You have to ensure that you actually grow something that is marketable. And, in this day and age where competition is so stiff, it's important that people can predict so that when they're making investment, the investment doesn't look good at the drain. So in knowing the health of one's soil, what do you mean? Because when I hear health, I think of disease and maybe you're not eating well. How does that apply to soil?
So for soil, you need to know the inherent nutrients that support production. So the nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, which are micro. The micronutrients like boron, zinc, which are equally important for the well-being of the plants. So you need to know what quantities you have inherent in the soil so that you don't just, if, for example, a soil has enough nitrogen for the production of maize, so why do you need to add additional nitrogen to that soil? So, and without the proper soil analysis, you may not be able to get that particular information that will help you in managing your farm much better.
What do you think his total fortune scores will be? Can you guess? Because we've graded him on different things.
Yeah, so for me, from what I've seen, I think I scored Ebuka close to 43. So I think Ebuka should be like maybe 75.
Let's check our fortune score on the fortune board and let's see what Ebuka scores will be. Oh, what do you know? Our mushroom from Ebuka actually scored 73 on the fortune board.
Yes, that's very good.
73 is A.
It is.
So he's an A-list farmer.
Yeah, it is.
That's very good. He's on his way to becoming a blown farmer, a big farmer, which is good. I must thank you very much again, Engineer Toba Shano, for all you do for educating our farmers about what it takes to have quality seeds, quality spores, sowing and reaping bumper harvest. Thank you so much for coming on this show.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's now continue and see what quality steps our mushroom farmer Ebuka is taking again, and let's see what becomes of his business.
So the demand have increased, because, and then now that we are in the market, awareness, people are getting to know that they can now get this mushroom year-round. Before now, they know that you're a mushroom farmer, but they only ask for it during the wet season because they believe, they can only get it within that period of the year. But now demand have increased because they know they can get it any time of the year, and our production capacity have increased. When you call, is there. So yes, the demand is going up every day, and sometimes we struggle to meet demand on the streets. We need help. Like, I did not study sciences in school. I'm a town planner, but then because of the need, and that is why we are here, if we can, get other persons get involved, we need more scientists looking into these things. We need, people who studied pharmacy. Come, let's do this thing together. This is medicine, not just food.
Welcome, a secret of the soil. We have our soil expert in the house in person of Babajide Ahmed Lawal. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes. It's not every day we talk about farming mushrooms. And that's making me get curious. I want to know more about it. Is mushroom a crop?
No. Mushroom is a fungus.
Fungus?
Yes.
Really? So it's not a crop?
No, it's not a crop.
Now, that leads me to the next question.
Okay.
Is it a microorganisms or what is it itself?
Generally, fungus is a microorganisms.
Great.
Microorganisms are living things that we can't see with our naked eye.
How is it beneficial to our soil?
Generally, we have different types of microorganisms.
Okay.
We have the bacteria, we have the fungi, we have the protozoa, we have the nematode, we have the actinomycetes.
Okay.
All these perform various functions which help to improve the soil. Take, for example, the bacteria. The bacteria helps in breaking down organic matter, plant residues, and organic manure, thereby releasing nutrients through the process known as mineralization.
Okay.
It's the conversion of organic nutrient to inorganic nutrient, making it available to the plant. Also, microorganisms also perform function of increasing plant growth hormones. In addition, again, microorganisms, apart from carrying out mineralization, they also ensure the nutrients are available for the plant. Because generally, most of these nutrients are in a form that are not easily available to the plant. So now the microorganisms, they break them down, making it available to the plant. Microorganisms also perform biocontrol functions. Biocontrol functions, different kind of control, pest control. We have the chemical method, we have the physical method, we also have biocontrol method. These microorganisms prevent pests, they tackle diseases, and also insects.
So because of just that question on mushroom, you just gave me microbial organism, microorganism. Wow, it's so serious. So now, if you say that mushroom is not a crop, it's a fungi.
Yes.
Is it very edible?
Yes. We have the edible fungus and the non-edible fungus.
Please tell me.
The edible fungus, what differentiates both of them is the source of the spore. In quotes, the seed.
Okay.
We can't go around getting fungus from the tree trunks or from the gutter.
Okay.
Those are not advisable.
Great.
But the source of the spore determines if it's edible or not. Because those are certified. Those people where we get them from are already certified already. So if we don't get the spore from them, we are not encouraged or advised
to consume them.
Yes.
It's time for us to go straight to our band banter and meet us there. Don't forget, it's still Farm and Fortune. And thank you, Mr. Babajide.
Thanks for having me.
It's still Farm and Fortune. Welcome to Band Banter with Helen, of course. As always, first we'll banter and then we'll play. Today, I have two amazing guests. Please tell me, what's your typical planting process?
The first thing you do is to get a quality seed. Once you get a quality seed, then you start with land preparation. After land preparation, then you can do your planting. But the planting process depends on the kind of crop you want to plant. For example, if it's rice you want to plant, after you have done your land preparation, you can either do it manually or use a mechanical process in the planting. That is just after the planting, they can think of pre-emergence herbicide application. So that is how planting works.
Man, farmers like you are so classy and of course knows what they're doing. Please tell me, which one do you think is the most important in farming any crop? The seed, the soil, or the fertilizer? And tell me why.
Okay, I think for every farmer, firstly, what you should consider is the seed of what crop you want to plant, because that's where let me say the genesis of all plants, that's where it all starts from. So firstly is the seed before the soil.
Wow, thank you very much. Today's game is simple. It's a game of cards. Are you ready? Yes. You each have 6 giant cards on the table by your board. Are you seeing the board? You have 90 seconds to arrange the cards in order of food standard production process. Now look at it. The buzzer will go off and then the timer will start reading. The farmer with the most arranged cards wins this game. Are you ready?
Yes, ma.
Your time starts now. The time is going. 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Arrangement. Standard of order of food production process. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know if they are both getting it right or wrong. Your time starts and ends now. Wow, this is a tough one. But of course, congratulations, because you followed the proper order by, of course, giving us harvesting, sorting and grading, cleaning, processing, quality control, and packaging, which you also did right. But of course, you achieved it faster before you finished yours. Don't forget that we'll always say congratulations to the winner. So congratulations. You are also a winner. Congratulations. That's how we have fun, right? On Farm and Fortune. The winner has won for himself 100,000 naira worth of farm inputs, and other contestants also get a prize. On Farm and Fortune, everyone is a winner. We'll be right back.
Let me go and package myself so that they will say me too. I don't blow.
So you think you can blow? Really? Well, safe journey. Bye.
Hey, enemy, village people, don't worry. I'll package myself. Even next week's show is already packaged.
Of course, there's always a lot to look forward to on Farm and Fortune. Which one is enemy?
Next week's episode, we're going to be discussing how to diversify your business.
So join us next week, same station, for the same program, Farm and Fortune. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, both for YouTube and Instagram, is at Farm and Fortune.
That's all we have time for today, but thank you for watching. I'm Frank Donga.
My name is Helen Paul, and see you next week.